Hey everybody, we're
Hey,
back
everyone.
with another edition of OpenLab. Kim, Andrea, thanks for joining. So wherever you're at, Facebook or YouTube, just put a, if you want to comment, put it in the comments section. That's where your questions will go as well. And I think we have a swag question, right, Kim?
We do, yeah. So today's going to definitely be a little bit different. So if you want your name entered in the drawing, so we have, should we do the 2 questions or just the 1? What do you think?
You decide. I'll let you decide.
Okay, let's do this. So the general question is going to be, do you currently use IL? Just a simple yes or no. You can just pop your answer into the comments section and your name will be automatically entered into our swag giveaway drawing. However, we do have a bonus question. The bonus question is this. How old was Patrick Swayze when he starred in the classic movie Roadhouse? First person to answer that question automatically gets the gift card. So, do you use IL currently, yes or no? And bonus question is, how old was Patrick Swayze when he starred in Roadhouse? First person to answer that question automatically gets the gift card.
The classic movie.
Classic movie. Well, I guess not award-winning, but it should have been award-winning.
Yeah. It actually bombed. I think we found out the last OpenLab or the one before that. Bombed at the box office. But
clearly insane.
But yeah, it was totally wrong. Yeah.
We've gotten some guesses so far, but nobody's right yet.
Nope. All right, so we'll just jump into, let's see, product updates.
Sure.
So,
Robin for the win, you guys.
What was that?
Nice.
Yes.
Robin got it right.
Robin got it first. Nice job, Robin.
Way to go, Robin.
Esther, you were close, but Robin got it first.
Very close.
Oh, fail first coming in with the other trivia
come on.
question.
Who was the famous guitarist in that movie? Jeff Healey. Please. We look like amateurs.
And for anybody that didn't know, 37. Yep.
All right.
But how would you not know that? It's just such a good movie. So webinars, I just want to say again, go to resources webinars and you can sign up for our current webinars. So we've got 3 current live ones and some on-demand ones. So we'll be adding to that over the next week or so. I've got a couple more lined up. So keep checking back for that. Esther, he did look young. Yeah. I don't think he ever aged actually, did he?
Timeless, ageless. Yes.
Yeah, ageless.
All right, Andrea.
So, product updates. Right now, we don't have any product updates this time, but we have some in the works right now, and they will be released over the next few weeks. So, we can talk about them in the next edition of OpenLab. Join us again in 2 weeks, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We do have a brand new website, though. Our regular inventorylab.com just got revamped.
Look how pretty it is.
Yeah. Look how bright it is.
It is so bright and inviting. I love it.
Yeah.
Got some
there's some
website. New us.
Some new things here about our story. It's kind of interesting. Learn about our founder, Ryan Stevens. You can meet the team here and learn about each of us. Just pop that up. There's the team.
Click on that.
There we are.
And you can even log in from the site too. I think that was there before, but it's still there. It disappeared for a while, unfortunately, but we got it back.
Did we used to have the little help icon in the bottom? I don't remember that.
I don't think we did. I think,
Not on the main page. No, that was in the support portal only.
Yeah, so click there, get some help. You can also get the live chat from there, so that's nice. Okay.
So yeah, that's our new pretty website. Very pretty.
And now, that so much. But. So anyway, I noticed we had a few cases come into support this week about dimension errors, and so if you do get an error, which is, you'll see this pop up if you're trying to add something to your batch, it means Amazon doesn't have the dimensions of it, or maybe they want to verify it, and so you need to put that in, and then the item will be added to your batch, but until Amazon verifies the dimensions or accepts the dimensions, it'll have this button here. Once you click that and Amazon has accepted them, then it'll go away. But if you're finding that it's taken a long time for that to happen, then what you can do is, and this is an article in our help portal here, adding package dimensions, but at the bottom there's a missing dimensions solution article which goes into the steps to take. And basically it's just go to your inventory page in Seller Central, and then you can add a product. If it's not already in your inventory, just go to add a product and go through the steps to add it to a shipping plan. Because once it's added to a shipping plan, Amazon's going to ask for it, for the dimensions, and then you can add them there and then go back to Inventory Lab, and hopefully that'll clear that up. The other options as discussed here, you can just add it right from your Manage Inventory page, and you can just edit and add that in, and hopefully Amazon will accept it there. But if not, you're having difficulty with that, reach out to support and we can help you through that. But I noticed a couple of tickets there, so I wanted to mention those steps there. It's not something we're sending you, it's Amazon. So.
All right.
And
All right, so another tale from support.
Sorry.
I was going to say, one more tale from support. When you receive an error message, when the error message is directly from Amazon, and if it pops up, usually it pops up in like the bottom right-hand screen, right? Yep, right.
Yeah.
Jeff's pointing at. But if you don't get to see the, if it goes away, it kind of disappears kind of quickly. But if you miss it, you can always go to list and go down to Amazon listing errors. And there you can,
oh, look at that. OpenLab today. I got to make sure I go there.
So cool. I didn't know it popped right up in there. That's so cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. So if you click on the eye in the little circle right there, you can see which batch and the timestamp too of when you received the error. There in the brackets, that's the M SKU or the SKU of the item that's affected. And it looks like this error was you're not authorized to list products under this brand. So that's the gated message that usually comes back. Now these come directly from Amazon. So Inventory Lab, we don't generate these error messages. They come directly from Amazon. So, but usually if you look up that type of error, we do have a way to solve it in our support portal. I think Jeff, is there an article called common errors or?
I think there is common errors. Oh, there it is right there.
Yeah. So if you look, right, we have the article about common errors. So if you do have questions about the error that you received, usually in here you'll be able to find how to correct that issue usually. And if anything, you can always open a ticket with us. We can walk you through and tell you how to find or how to fix the error. But in the meantime, that is where you can view them, just in case you see that pop up and you missed it. It's always available there. And then if you don't need it anymore, you can also delete it. Yep, using that red X. So
I see somebody's cleaned out the errors here, so that's good.
I think that's still my error.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. In our test account. So super helpful. Check out that article too if you ever get any errors as well. It's nice, easy, step-by-step. Tells you exactly what you need to do, how to handle them. So.
All right, now we have an exciting first for OpenLab. We're actually going to be sharing something in Kim's Corner.
Yeah,
I hope
hopefully
it works.
hopefully it works. We'll see. So real quick before I get into Kim's Corner, just a quick reminder, if you're just joining us and you want your name entered into our IL swag drawing at the end of the broadcast, just answer the question. Do you currently use Inventory Lab? Just pop a yes or a no into the comments section, and your name will automatically be entered into the drawing. Okay, so welcome to Kim's Corner. This is where I talk about what I'm learning about Inventory Lab, Amazon selling, and e-commerce. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about sourcing. So specifically, when you go out, do retail arbitrage, because this was one of my most recent lessons in my Amazon selling journey. And for anyone out there who currently uses or has used IL in the past, you already know we have two applications: our desktop app Stratify and our mobile app Scoutify 2. So there we go. So Jeff's got Scoutify 2 already up. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do with Scoutify 2. You can figure out how profitable an item is by looking at the buy cost and the ROI, the return on investment. You can see whether an item is restricted. You can look at your sales history of the item, your purchase history, and you can even see how many offers are currently on Amazon for that particular item. So let's say I find an item in the clearance section of Walmart, which is where I was shopping, and I'm wondering whether it would be worth selling on Amazon through FBA. The first thing I would need to do is check the price. So since we're at the tail end of summer and pretty much every brick and mortar and online store already has their Halloween stuff out, I'm going to be looking at summer things on clearance that people might want to stock up on for cheap for next year. So as an example, let's say I find this really nice acrylic pitcher by Amazing Abby. And it's the bubbly pitcher, the acrylic pitcher, 72 ounce. So it's very summery. Obviously, it's got, lemons all over it. And so I think most people would only use this at a certain time of year. So I want to see if it's worth selling on Amazon. So as soon as I pull it up in Scoutify 2, it already tells me the target cost per item. So in this case, for one pitcher, that would be $4.18, right? Or no, see, now it's showing a different cost when I looked at this before. But anyway, so for our demonstration here, it's showing $7.13. So that's one pitcher is one unit. So if Walmart has the pitcher on clearance for $7.13 or less, then it's probably worth buying and listing. So when I look at all the information that Scoutify 2 provides under profitability, and if you see right here, there's right in the middle of the page there's profitability, that tab there. Jeff, can you click on that? On the tab right under there? Yeah, there we go. Cool. So it tells you all sorts of things. So it's telling me what all my costs would be for this item. So if I list it on Amazon for $19.99, and keep in mind that, let's say it cost me, $7.13. So this would be the target cost. And then you've got the list price of $19.99. And then you can see you've got fees, of course. You've got your Amazon referral fee of $3, your FBA fulfillment fee of $5.68, your estimated shipping is 61 cents. So your total expense is $16.42. And so there's a net profit of $3.57. So that's a return of your investment of 50.07%. So you could see at a glance that all of the information that you would need to make that decision about whether this would be a good item to sell. And one other thing that you can see at a glance is the ranking. So if you look up, and first of all, you can see that little green thumbs up right in the upper left corner, right next to the picture of the item. So that gives you an idea right away that this would probably be a good item to sell. And then if you go down to that second box there, that's dark blue, you can see that this item is listed in the top 1%. And you can see there's over 86 million items listed in home and kitchen, which is a lot of items. So being in the top 1% means that this item sells pretty well. So, because that's a lot of items. And if it's in the top 1%, that's very good. So that just gives you an overview. Jeff, why don't we maybe look at a couple other things? If you would, can you pull up a different ASIN? And that would be the B. Let's see, it's B005. There we go. Yep. Okay, so the Miracle Noodle Fettuccine. So again, it shows you exactly, you know, what the list price is. It shows you what you're shooting for now. A target cost of $1.47. That's pretty low. So this one might be a more difficult item, you know, to find at that target cost. And plus, you can see the ranking. And Jeff, if you click on that, it shows you the actual number of the ranking, right? Yeah. So it shows, yeah. So you can click on that and see either the percentage that it's in, which in this case, it's the top. Is that 15 or 16? I think it's 16.
Yeah, that's 16.
16,
Yep.
yeah. Or you can actually see the number of the rankings. So, so in this case, this one probably wouldn't be, you know, as profitable to sell. Jeff, is there any way we can get it to show an ROI on this?
Oh yeah, let me tap the cost to add that in. Let's say I got it for $1 maybe.
Yeah, if you found it for $1, that would be great. Okay, so your return on investment is 120%. So that's not too bad. So if you can find something like this for as low as $1, then that tells you that probably would be worth listing. And all right, let's do one more item, Jeff. Maybe something that's widely available that you can get, you know, anywhere now. Let's pull up the Jumble Blue Disposable 3-ply face mask, the 50-pack. Okay, so here it's saying that the list price is $16.49, cost per unit $6.78. So our target cost is $6.78. So if you were to, and that's also in the top 1%. That's surprising. Do you think that's surprising? As far as Jeff and Andrea, do you think it's surprising do you think that's more because it's a certain brand name? Because I would think that face masks at this point.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be so many of them selling.
Right, exactly. So that just goes to show you never know. I mean, and again, maybe it's because this particular brand is not.
And they could be spending a ton of advertising too to get people to click on their listing.
Right, exactly. Which is why, again, Scoutify 2 is so valuable because I mean, you might just make an assumption like I did. Well, it's a face mask and you can get face masks anywhere. But if you can find this particular face mask and you can get it for, you know, that target cost or less, and it sells well, then you could be looking at a very high ROI on that. So, as you can see, Scoutify 2 is a really useful tool to help you figure out which items to sell, what's profitable, what's worth sourcing. And remember, if you're new to IL or you just have questions about Scoutify 2 and how it can help you source inventory or anything else, feel free to put your questions in the comments section here. Send an email to support@inventorylab.com or check out our support portal at inventorylab.com/support. And as always, we will do our best to get to as many questions as possible at the end of the broadcast.
And a couple of other things on here is that research button, that orange one. If you tap on that, then it gives you several research tools to use. And the key that you add in your custom ASIN research there, you can add that on from Stratify and it'll show up here as well.
Yep.
So I could tap on that. Should take me to Keepa. Maybe their site's down. Maybe it's my internet. But my eyes, I can't really see a lot of the things on there, but it's there if you need it. And then
I think if you tap right on the picture too, it takes you right to the Amazon listing, right?
I think it's the ASIN right below it. Takes you right there.
There we go. Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I love Scoutify.
It's really cool. Like I said, just the idea that just at a glance you can get a really good feel for whether or not this is something worth buying.
Well, it's nice too. On this, it shows you hardly ever see prep instructions. I mean, Amazon does send them through on some items, but usually it's NA. But here, they are sending the prep for these polybagging, labeling. So you also see your prep if it's required, if Amazon sends it to us. But the other thing too is the restrictions, the red button. As long as you are set up and you're signed into Seller Central, then we're connected to your account. You can tap that, and it shows you that we can't, obviously we can't sell in our account, but it would show you if you're eligible for any of these conditions. Currently, everything's restricted, so, but you can also see storage fees and history, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's pretty useful.
It really
Gives a lot
is.
more information.
And as Jeff mentioned, if you click on the research button, it brings you to all the different places that you can check that. So, but Jeff, Deanna has a quick question about. She says, "Where did you say to add Keepa?" So, if you didn't already have it in there, or does it automatically populate with all of those, or do you have to add in each?
It populates with everything except for the last two. So what you can do, you can add it here in Scoutify. I think it's easier to go to Stratify and just go to your settings page, and then go to the, well, here, I'll just show you on the screen.
Yeah, there's some copy and pasting that's easier to just do on your
yeah. Let me share.
On your desktop.
So when you're on your in Stratify, you can go to settings and then list, I think. I always forget where it is.
I think it's under general.
Oh, is it general?
Actually.
Okay.
Yep, general, and scroll down.
Yep, there you go.
Yep, there it is.
So let me open up Keepa. So what you do is you go to Keepa, just the free account, and then I never think on my feet very well, so I just pick Folgers. And just pick any item at all to get some data on. So once you have an item, displayed here and it shows the graph and everything, you just go up to the URL and then copy that, and then come back to Stratify and you paste that into the URL field. The display name is what's going to show up on Scoutify, so you type Keepa there, and then the icon text is what's going to show up on List or the Scout page. And then you can see down below, I can turn it on for all of these, or I can just turn it on for one or two out of the three, that sort of thing. And once you create it, then it becomes an option. And if you have all three of those selected, it'll be an option on Scoutify as well. You can add it through Scoutify, but it's a lot harder. I don't think it's that easy at all, just because it's smaller screen. But you could do it on the fly if you needed to add it in. Just go to your settings, and your settings are in the lower right. Let me go back to that.
In the help article with the full instructions on how to do this is it's called Custom ASIN Shortcuts.
Yeah, and it walks you through very simple instructions actually. So yeah, like Andrea said, with screenshots and all that. But you can add your custom ASIN shortcuts right here, and paste the same URL and type it all in, and save your changes. Very easy. Yeah, good question though. All right, let's see. Any other questions about Scoutify before I? All right. Yeah, Deanna, you're welcome. All right, let's switch back here. Okay, so now, as because it's time for Amazon news. So as I find our little placard, there we go. All right, so we're just going to relay some news we found we thought was interesting in this segment. And one of them that I thought was pretty interesting was Amazon partners with a firm to let people buy things on a kind of an installment plan. So a firm is one of those things you can shop through them, and then they'll set you up on I think it's 3 months, 6 months, or a year payment options when I looked at it today. And so more expensive items you can use a firm now through Amazon. I know a firm also does things through the Apple Store and a lot of big names that they have in their partnerships. So it's kind of an interesting option now for customers of Amazon. I know some of the stuff on there is, you know, we've done some testing just in looking up different items like rings and watches, and there's some pretty expensive stuff on Amazon. I was surprised. Looks like they're just rolling it out though, slowly. Some users were made available on Friday. This would have been last week, and it's $50 or more as far as the item price. And looks like Square's also kind of getting into it, but yeah, so that was kind of interesting news, I thought. All right.
Yeah, I know a lot of people use Affirm and Afterpay, so.
Oh yeah, Afterpay. That was the other
Afterpay's
one.
a big one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice way to shop.
It's dangerous too.
That's too expensive. Oh wait, I have a firm now. Let me try it that way.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so Kim, what do you have for us?
All right. So I think everybody agrees Amazon is always thought of as the e-commerce giant. But actually, only 50% of its revenue comes from retail sales, as this article points out. The rest is actually from other services like Prime membership, cloud hosting, third-party marketplace, and advertising. And the article actually states that in the second quarter of this year, Amazon services business grew nearly 3 times faster than its retail sales, which I think is pretty incredible. And I think it really illustrates how Amazon is really pushing its brand as a whole and not just focusing on its retail sales. Because everything nowadays is about a brand, right? It's not just about what you're selling. I mean, it's not just items, it's the whole Amazon experience. So that's really, really interesting to read.
That's quite a jump, especially for somebody
Really is.
that big and they have so much revenue already. And then when you're talking about a, 10%, that's huge.
Right. It's 10% huge, right? Because it says like 3 years ago in 2018, it was the retail sales made up, 60%?
Yeah,
of the
60%.
revenue. But then you get that third-party marketplace that we all know is just huge. It's absolutely huge, and I don't expect that to slow down at all. The way things are trending, I would expect that we could see a point where very, very soon the business services for Amazon actually eclipse retail sales.
That's a good segue into the next segment that Andrea has for us, actually. When we're talking about other retailers.
Walmart Go Local. That's a new thing. Local, not loco. So Walmart is trying to step up their game against Amazon's fulfillment network, and they will now be actually working with other retailers to fulfill orders for them. And they're doing that through a third-party logistics service called Walmart Go Local. And it was launched this Tuesday. And so what they're doing is they're partnering up with local brands, local businesses, and they'll be, using the Amazon Fulfillment Network to send out the like orders and stuff like that for local businesses. So they're going to use the Walmart distribution platform and process orders for like through their website. So this will be interesting to see how many brands team up with Walmart for this. Yeah, it's interesting to see where this will go, especially with Amazon, their fulfillment services. Which, I mean, so far, Amazon does have the best fulfillment network, I think, out there. I don't know if you've ever tried to like shop on Target or do stuff like that. It takes a while.
Yeah, it's kind of cumbersome. I mean, Amazon has it dialed.
There are times, I've paid more on Amazon because I know it's just easier. So
yeah. I don't know if any of our customers also sell on Walmart, but I know that's available too, selling kind of like Amazon FBA, but through Walmart.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Walmart must have been reading the same article that we talked about a couple weeks ago about the fact that Amazon had eclipsed them as the retail leader. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or they just watched our broadcast.
Yeah. Maybe they are.
Right?
All right. Now let's get into some quick tips.
All right.
What do you have, Andrew? Yeah.
I have. Okay. So say you open your batch, you put all of your settings through, you named it, put down that you want to do individual, not case packed. You want to do your box contents through Inventory Lab. And, you have all these items added to your batch, and you just realize you're like, oh my goodness. I have an entire buy list that I could be adding to this batch that I forgot about. Well, you can actually do that now. You can actually add your batch or you can actually add your buy list to an open batch. And first you're going to want to click on the 3 horizontal lines, which Jeff likes to call the hamburger. 3 horizontal lines.
I didn't come up with that. That's just what it was. I was told that that's what it's called. So I don't know where that came from. Oh, maybe.
And from here you can either select, I believe you can either select edit or you can click just import buy list. And that will let you either upload a local file from your computer, or you can select a buy list that you may already have existing in Scoutify. Because we do, that's still relatively new too, where you can you can get your buy list directly from Scoutify while listing through Stratify. So
yeah, you can. It's kind of handy because you can do your research right on Scoutify if you want to add items to the buy list, and then just pop them into a batch pretty easily. So
yeah, it's a super seamless tool. Like I really like it.
This came up in a webinar last week or the week before, so I thought, well, maybe we should add it to the quick tips because it's not something that we get asked about a lot, but it's kind of a handy feature. So
yeah, and you can just keep adding buy list by buy list. Yeah, you really
there's
want
no limit. Yeah.
So if you forget, you can always do that.
And then Amazon came out with in their news, U.S. announcements, that they have a new widget called Holiday Settings in the General Shipping Settings page. So if you ship merchant fulfilled, you can go in there now and customize the holidays. So it'll better match your operational schedule and fulfillment capability. So you can override different holiday settings and create a faster self-fulfillment offer. So that's kind of a nice feature. I've never shipped merch fulfillment, so maybe it's not so nice. I don't know, but it seemed like it was a good update for those that merchant fulfill, which you can, list your merchant fulfilled items through Inventory Lab in case you weren't aware. So using the same batch process. But anyway, this is the
nice labels.
yeah, that's right. I forget about the labels on merchant fulfilled stuff, but yeah. Anyway, that's in the news section on your Amazon Seller Central page, so be aware of that.
Speaking of holidays, Inventory Lab, we will be closed next Monday for Labor Day. Our support portal will be our support team will not be here, but any tickets that are opened on that day will be responded to the next day on Tuesday. So we'll be back and open again on Tuesday. So
Oh yeah,
just a
that's
little
good you
reminder.
remembered that. I
Definitely.
totally forgot it was Monday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
I know I forgot it was the
soon.
holiday weekend too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see, Andrea. I think this one's yours.
Oh yeah.
Anybody sprung it on you?
No, it's okay. So Bookskeep now has a downloadable PDF, and there are some helpful tips about inventory here. And we do
Yeah, it's a downloadable PDF. It's kind of large here, but it's pretty helpful from them. Cindy Thomason, she's been on the OpenLab before. She came up with this, just some helpful stuff about inventory and
Yep. Cindy and Bookskeep have been a great partner. We have there are webinars that we've done with her, interviews. They do some guest blogs, and Cindy always provides a lot of really great information.
yeah, she's a great resource for sure. All right,
She really is.
guess we could jump into some Q&A now.
Sure. I did notice a couple of late questions about Scoutify, so I figured we'll just
Oh,
knock
okay.
those out first. Okay, so the first one is from Christy. She says, Scoutify doesn't scan items very well. Is there a trick? I'm just curious, Christy, if you have an iPhone or an Android, because I have heard that sometimes certain phones are a little trickier to use than others. I don't know how much truth there is to that. It just seems to be based on people's experience. But Jeff and Andrea, what do you think about this?
I mean, I don't see this question come in so much for iPhone users. What do you think, Jeff? Because
Yeah, it's usually like Samsung, I know, has a problem
Yeah.
occasionally, and that seems to
Yeah,
be the
Samsung's-
brand that usually pops in with that.
Okay. And I'm guessing that there's really no other trick, so to speak. I know some people use like the little Bluetooth scanners instead of their phone.
Yeah, connect a separate Bluetooth scanner that
Yeah.
you can connect to your phone, and it'll work with Scoutify too. Some people use that to do quicker scans.
Yeah, that's a good workaround too.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't really think there's any particular trick to it. I do think, see, the Warrior Solution says I use a Samsung Galaxy S10 and Scoutify works like a champ. So way faster than the Amazon seller app. So I don't really know if it is specific. Phil first says that his iPhone 8 glitches, but he thinks it's because of the memory. So it could really be very specific to phones.
And also you have,
Yeah.
also it's the internet connection too. Make sure sometimes, you know,
right.
you have to have an internet connection because we're pulling the information from Amazon, so
Yep.
make sure you have a good connection. Sometimes in stores, especially, you have to go pretty deep into the store.
Right.
And it's a cement building, and you know, maybe you're on a lower level or something, that can cause a delay in the scan. But when you say it doesn't scan very well, does that mean it takes a while to get a result, or it just doesn't give you a result? Because sometimes that could be also a result of the item not actually being in the Amazon catalog, if it comes up with a product not found.
I do, and I do think it definitely it could be a lot of different things instead of just one specific thing. Because I know where I am, even though I have Verizon and I supposedly have great coverage, the minute I get near one of the Walmarts near me, I have no service. None. And I don't understand because it's a really busy, popular area. So it's very strange. But if I go to the other Walmart that's near me, it's fine.
So weird. Sometimes I think it's intentional.
I wonder. I know, right? And I don't know why, but
because people are scouting. You know what I mean? Like I think it's honestly like
it could be. It could be.
Like the store limits the signal or has a signal blocker or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a dirty fool.
Yep. And Warrior Solution mentioned that they ran into the same issue yesterday. Terrible cell reception. Scans took a while, so he just connected to the store's Wi-Fi. And then Dave mentioned that newer phones make all the difference when using Amazon app and Scoutify. So I think what we're talking here, Christy, is a lot of different variables. I don't think there's any one particular thing. So unfortunately, there's no real trick that we can recommend for that. But there are workarounds, like we were saying. Just make sure that you're someplace where your coverage is good, where you've got a strong signal. If all else fails, again, you can buy a Bluetooth scanner to connect to your phone. If you end up getting at some point another phone, see if that makes any difference too.
I've gotten yelled at before for having my phone out and scanning inventory in like a Target before. So I don't think they're very.
Is that a thing? I mean, are we not?
That's a thing.
No, I mean, but like they can't tell you not to do that. I don't see how that's.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
mean? Could kick you out though.
Sure, but based on what? I mean, you know what you could do to avoid that? You could just manually. They can't look at your phone. You could always just say, "I'm texting someone."
Yeah, Deanna says that Target is not reseller
not friendly at all.
So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've never understood that. Those stories, that I know it happens, and I don't understand the store's point of view because why do they care? They're selling the item. Why do they care if you're buying it and then putting it on Amazon to resell it?
Right.
They still get their money.
Yeah. You still get exactly. They still get their money no matter what happens to that. And it's not like it's a Target specific item. Most of the things that people are scanning are made by other manufacturers. It's not. And even if we're talking, if it was like a Target private label, again, it doesn't very much matter because they're going to, they're going to be able to sell those things if people want to source them. So I don't know.
I saw this come in from Phil first. I wanted to address it because this has happened before. We've gotten this question before, and there was a time, and Scout IQ is like one of those original scanners where you could actually download a database from Amazon, but Amazon cut that off. So unless you got in and were able to do it very early on in, when this FBA started, then you can't do that anymore. So they don't make it available to download their database like Scout IQ has. But that would be nice.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to worry about, I don't know, maybe like items not being up to date or the catalog, because you always want the most recent up to date catalog to see like what is for sale and everything.
Fail first grandfathered. Yep, that's exactly it. They were grandfathered in, so they have access now. So it's kind of like us though too. When you connect your account to Seller Central, you could do that all within our application, and we make the process pretty seamless. We take you there, and then we bring you right back. Newer applications that want to use the API and stuff, they can't connect that way any longer. So we were grandfathered in for that process, but yeah. I clicked on this one from Warrior Solution. So when uploading a new batch with multiple units of a single SKU, is there a way to print a label when updating the quantity in the batch without having to look for it manually? And yes, there is. So if you go to your print settings, let me just read the update here real quick though before I do that. Scan the same item from demo store, updated the quantity. Okay. Yeah, so what you do is you go to print settings and turn on this after quantity edit. So if you add, in your case, the one item you added to the batch, and then you found another one from a different store, it's still the same item, same conditions, so it has the same FN SKU label. So you go in, you edit the quantity in the batch to 2 instead of 1. Well, it'll automatically print you just the one label, not all 2 of them. So it's only going to print the amount that you adjusted it up. So if you had 10 items in there and you found 2 more, but you'd already, maybe moved on to other items, but then you see these 2, and then you go into your, your batch and you edit from here, from the hamburger icon, and change the quantity from 4 to 6, it would automatically print you 2 labels instead of the 6, and it prints it right then, so then you don't have to, find the labels later.
Great.
Okay, good.
That answered your question. His question. Okay, great. All right, and I think we had one more about Scoutify, maybe a couple more. Phil first asked, I wonder if there's a way to see certain important things when using Scoutify 2, like you showed the prep comments. Maybe as an example, in Amazon considering multiple and only allowing those type of FBA shipments at certain times of the year.
I'm trying to remember if multiples, if you have the restrictions turned on, I think that's just for I know when you're listing items within that ban period where you can't send in multiples, that it'll tell you, and so it'll prevent it from going in the batch. But maybe, you know what,
So I'm looking at Seller Central right now, a help article, and it says, so FBA accepts multiple products from October 16th to April 14th only, so keep those days handy. And multiple inventory stored or arriving at the fulfillment centers from April 15th to October 15th is marked as unfulfillable and disposed of for a fee. So,
but I don't know if that alert comes through like when you scan an item. I want to say it does. If you scan it and it's during that period where multiples are not allowed, and you try to send in something FBA and you scan it with Scoutify, does it pop up with that multiple warning? I can't remember.
I don't believe so. I think the only time I've ever seen the multiple warning is when you get the warning back after you submit the batch. But I don't think that seems like I know if we have those dates.
It's a good suggestion, though. I mean,
yeah, it's a really good suggestion.
To just automatically have that, because we know the time frame, of when multiples can be shipped in and when they can be stored.
Phil first said he just scanned some Whoppers, and then nothing popped up. So.
Oh, it didn't pop up? Okay.
Yeah, but no, that's a really good suggestion. See, we need.
Is that what you mean, Phil, first? Having stuff like that show through Scoutify 2? Or?
Pretty sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I think there was one other.
Yeah.
Oh, did we get all the Scoutify stuff done, or?
Let me just check here.
So I can switch back if not.
Let's see. A lot of comments about the phones and scanning. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if this is. No, that's not specific to Scoutify.
I just want to pop up some praise from Warrior Solution. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Warrior Solution. I did want to go back to a question that Esther had. Okay. So she starts off by commenting, we pay commission to our suppliers based off of supplier profitability. We need the numbers to be as accurate as possible. They are mostly MF sales. How do we handle merchant fulfilled returns so that the unit goes back to the correct supplier in a still fulfillable case and the profit gets debited correctly? And there's a second part to this too, but I'll let you address that part first.
So when you get a merchant fulfilled return, it's going to come right back to you. Normally you get a return, it'll show up on the refunds and it'll say, it's a merchant. And then it would have to be, you'd have to put in a removals and disposals order through Amazon and they'd send it back to you. But since it's merchant, it comes directly back to you. So it's going to end up on your disposition management page, and it'll say here merchant MFN return. And so when you get it back, I mean, you can set these by clicking here on the little icon, and MFN returns, you can set them to default to either unsellable or sellable, whatever one you find that you're getting back. So if you get merchant returns that are always sellable when they get back to you, then, or most of them, then you'd set it as sellable. If you find most of your merchant returns are unsellable, then use that. But whatever condition it is in, mark it here. So if you want, I'm just reading the question again real quick. So if it's still fulfillable, like you could sell it again, then you want to make sure it's sellable, because that'll make sure the buy cost isn't added in the cost of goods sold incorrectly. If you find that it's unsellable, meaning you can't sell it on Amazon again, then you need to mark it as unsellable. And when you do, then we'll credit the buy cost, add that to the cost of goods sold, so you get to write that off.
And that's the second part of Esther's question about handling in an unfulfillable case.
Yeah, and that includes, I mean, if you're going to sell it on eBay or something like that, not necessarily Amazon, you'd still mark it as sellable. You may not get as much back, but you wouldn't want to double count your buy cost. So by marking it as unsellable on the disposition management page, once it's processed, the return's processed through Amazon, then and it gets back in your hands, then that would write off that buy cost for you. And the expenses associated with the return are going to be in there anyway, because Amazon is going to charge you a refund administration fee, so you're going to have that, and that's going to be listed. But we keep track of all that, so you don't have to.
Okay, and Esther wants to know is there a way to track for that return to go back to a specific supplier?
Not through our system. It would be back in your inventory. If you marked it as sellable, then you would have to list it again, because we've removed it from your available inventory. So that would be something you'd have to do while you have it in your hand after you mark, as part of your workflow, maybe mark it as unsellable. And if it's...
And you'll be able to see from the refunds line what supplier was active at the time that you made that sale as well.
Right. Yeah, you can go to your refund and find...
We don't have a lot of refunds on this account, so it's really hard to demonstrate.
Yeah, we really don't.
But if you
it works the same as the sales. Yeah, you just click on the refund
sales,
and then look at the supplier. Yeah. Because your refund order ID is going to be... Oops, sorry.
No, I was going to say you can either look it up by the order ID, or you can look it up by on the actual inventory page too, if you're wondering about a certain inventory item or SKU.
Right, because your sale order ID is going to be the same as the refund on a sale is going to be the same as the order ID. It's going to have the same order ID. So, yeah, we don't have any, I don't think, on this one. Let's see. Oh, there's a few from April. So you get it. This is the order ID of the original sale. You can just click there and find out, who supplied it. So it would be a merchant return, so it would be listed here as well, so you could click there and find it. But you'd have to figure out a workflow for you to keep track of that on your own. There's no way to set it to return within our system, or that it has to, go back.
Yeah.
Okay. We have time for another one?
Sure.
All right. So 911 Royman says, when will you start allowing us to print 2D labels directly from your software?
And we've gotten this before, right, Andrea? I think we've every now and then we get that question.
We get that pretty regularly, at least twice a month, I'd say. It's still, it's on our, hopefully it will like fit into our roadmap. We have plans for it. But as of right now, nothing solid. So you'll have to keep using the, the regular thermal printer labels for now. Or if you want to do the 30 up, you can do that through Seller Central.
Yeah, the 2D barcodes are pretty handy because it has all your box contents and stuff in there. So, but yeah, like Andrew said, it's definitely on our list. We have it in as a suggestion. So we'll put another check mark by it from you, adding more votes to it. That's kind of how things get moved up to the top of the list. The more people want it, the higher up it is.
Yeah, that is very true.
All right. Is it that time?
I think there was one more that.
Do one more?
There was one that I'm trying to find it now. Something about IL versus Seller Central.
I think it was Train Watcher Dan.
Oh.
Yep. He says, "Hi guys, what do you see as the advantages of IL over Seller Central?" Oh, so many.
Yeah, the biggest thing, Dan, is keeping track of your buy costs so that when you get those sales, like when you're in your sales here, we pull that information from your inventory so that you can tell, your cost gets pulled in, your supplier. And so when you're on this sales page, it's going to tell you what your net profit is, less all the expenses, plus less your buy cost. And so all of that goes into your profit and loss. And we're keeping track of all that for you, so you don't have to have different spreadsheets for different, data points that you're trying to keep track of. Also, the listing and printing. If you have a thermal label printer, the process is much smoother. And you get those labels printed out just as you need them, and the right number of labels. You don't have to guess on your 30 up labels. I never have been able to get an exact number of, exactly 30 labels on a.
And you never will.
Yeah. It's a scam between Amazon and Avery, I think. So.
Yeah, our driving factors. You can do everything within Inventory Lab. You can list. You can, you can handle your box contents, and then you can do your, track your sales and everything. Another thing that we feature that Seller Central doesn't have is other expenses. So say you want to, to know your true profit and loss. You want to input your other expenses, whether that's mileage, driving somewhere, or for an employee, or, and you can set up these expenses as recurring too, so you don't have to think about it. It will just automatically show up on the date that you expect that you selected, and it's super handy. So Seller Central doesn't have anything like that where you can just account for various other expenses like we can in Inventory Lab. So that's just another feature.
And not to mention unlisted inventory too, so you can keep track of items that are for sale on other marketplaces on there, just tag them like eBay, those sorts of things. Or hold items back that are seasonal maybe and you don't want to send into Amazon yet, so you can store them at your place, but you want to keep track of those costs. You just use it in listed and unlisted inventory, and then when you're ready to send it in, the process for pulling that inventory into the list page and into a batch is pretty seamless, because you search Amazon plus you search your unlisted inventory page as your listing, and then you can pull those items in and send them in when you're ready, instead of having Amazon store them for you. It wasn't such a bad idea years ago. You could have Amazon store stuff, but they kind of got wise to that, and so they started charging all those fees. Those add up pretty quick. Yeah, like Phil first says, you can add in your box expenses, your tape, your labels, bubble wrap, add all that in there.
Yep.
Keep track of it all for you.
Anyone who's ever looked at Seller Central, I find it very overwhelming visually. I think IL is a lot more user-friendly, easier to navigate. I like the layout a lot better than Seller Central. I feel, like I said, it's very overwhelming when you open up Seller Central.
They're trying.
All right. Quick answer to your wireless Dymo labeler. That'd be something to reach out to support. I know we don't technically support a wireless printer, but I know some of our users have gotten it to work. We may be able to look up older cases where people have had one and gotten it to work with our system, but we don't technically support the wireless ones. I think that was everything.
I think that was everything. Yeah. And now, as we mentioned, we already had Robin Fogel was our winner for the Amazon gift card with the correct answer to how old was Patrick Swayze when he made the classic movie Roadhouse. So the other drawings are going to be for some awesome IL swag.
Yeah, speaking of swag, let me have another drink in my, oops. Better remove the question so you can see it. Oh, there we go.
Right.
Having some control panel issues here.
And I got my cup up.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
did you put yours up? I was so
did.
busy watching the other screen, I didn't say. There we go. That's better.
I
Oh,
thought-
our water bottle. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Andrew's
I
holding
love
up the
this
water
thing.
bottle we have now. So.
Better than my Yeti. No joke. So congratulations, Robin.
Yeah,
Yes, Robin.
email
Well
support
done.
at Inventory Lab, Robin, and tell us which email address to send that to. We'll get that done today.
All right. Then
All right. Where's our drum roll?
Oh, yeah. Gotta have the drum roll. Sorry. Failing.
all right, swag bag winner number 1 is Deanna Liu.
Deanna.
Hey,
Congratulations.
Deanna.
So again, just email us at support@inventorylab.com with your contact information, and we will send you your swag bag. All right, get the drum roll ready for number 2.
Okay. Ready.
Number 2 winner
Christy.
is Christy Radley.
Congratulations.
Christy, congratulations.
Jeff,
So
even though
you're
you-
not just, I would like to say, you're not just going to get a tumbler and a water bottle. There's
Right.
other stuff in there.
Get other stuff
No,
too.
it's a lot of other
Yeah.
stuff.
Even
Yeah.
with that drum roll, I still am like making the sound to myself. As soon as I know that the drum roll is supposed to happen, I'm like,
I won't make fun of you because I learned from the best about
Be nice. Come on.
to make sure
Aw.
you be nice.
Thank
You
you.
know?
little present for everybody there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, thank
Well,
you,
thanks,
everyone,
everybody.
for joining us, as always.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
We'll see you in 2 more weeks.
Yep.
2 weeks.
See you then.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a
Bye,
great night,
everyone.
everyone.